my pipe mostly laid, and then I'm gonna have to take this all down here. I might rework this and try to figure out this a little bit better because this just feels like an absolute mess. So welcome back, guys, to episode 14. So our last episode, we went and made our highway and messed with all of our hypertube stuff, got all that set up. It's a great video. If you haven't seen it, make sure you click in the top right corner and check that video out. Over this episode, I wanted to show you guys kind of where we're at with our factory over here, because we have a lot of problems that we need to address before we go any further. I do have all of the completed project parts now, so I have all of these versatile frameworks, the automatic wiring, and then I have the rest of it all over here. So we do have all of our project parts, and we are ready to move on to the next set of tiers. We've completed all of our milestones for this last one. The only problem is we are way behind on what we need to be doing for our factory. We spent a lot of time trying to get our coal set up, getting the steel set up. We just built the highway. There's been a bunch of projects running around. We set up a good set of assemblers on the last, it was like episode 4 or 5, where we have our modular frames being made, and then we have down here, we have our reinforced plates, and then we have our rotors in here. So this right now is producing at a loss, so this cannot keep up with our modular frames up there. This rotor thing is completely full. Right now we're only running one assembler because we don't even have enough to run this one. We have this completely full, so these aren't even running, and then we have our entire iron 2 module over here that is hooked up to nothing. We have 4 layers. We have over like 25 something constructors over here. So we have 4 on this level, we have another 8 down here, then we have another 8, and then we have another 12, I believe, up there at the top. So we have a lot of constructors that are just sitting here idling. That's why our max production is so high. Our max consumption is so high because none of these are running. These are basically completely shut off. And then on top of this level, we have a whole nother level of 6 constructors that is all screws. So these are going nowhere right now. They're literally just hanging out, not running, idling. There's a lot of stuff that we can put together, create our assemblers. We need to upgrade our copper production. We had that whole video about copper chaos. If you haven't seen that one, top right corner again. But these sorry, I'm tripping over my words. These miners down here are only miner mark 1s. We basically need to double our copper production to get all this stuff running. When we double the copper production, we can get our rotors running, because then we'll have enough. We already have the screws available to us. We have everything that we need. It's just a matter of building all the smelters, the constructors, building all the assemblers that we need, and it's going to be a huge project. There's a lot of stuff to get done in this episode. And before we can do any of that, though, if I can find one of these power lines, let's head to one of my power rooms that we built. Can I not get into this one? Okay, hold on, let me find my power room. 1 second. I'm even lost my own factory because it's getting way too big. When we go down here and we click on one of our power lines, you can see that our max consumption is over our actual production. So in this video, what we're going to do is I've gathered some power shards, and we're going to be going down to our coal plant and literally doubling it. So I know that I just made a video about coal plants, but we do not have enough power. Even with all that added, we're going to power shard those 2 nodes down there and get them up to 240 apiece, and we're literally going to build another entire coal plant right behind that. So I'm going to try to skim through that a little bit because you guys have already seen it. I'll give you guys little big updates here and there when I get a lot done. But I'm going to try to skim through that and then get started on building the next beginning portion of the copper area in this video. So all that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in one more time. Make sure you guys like and comment down below, follow the series, and you know, let's get into it. Yeah, I know I missed it in my last video, but I wanted to say there was some more comments. So we have this guy. I'm not going to try to say that name because I'm not even going to get close, but he said, "Been started." Awesome. I really appreciate that, guys. And then over here we have Andrew, who said this factory looks great. Thank you guys for all your comments. If you want to be included on the comment wall, just comment something down below, as long as it's nice and positive, whatever it is. Like, it can be something as simple as just nice, or I'm going to subscribe to you, whatever it is. You guys comment down something good below. I will try to include it on our comment wall. So make sure you guys comment if you want to be featured in one of our videos. Alright, so we made it back over to our area for our video today. This is our coal plant. If you haven't seen that video, I'm going to keep plugging stuff all video long. If you haven't seen that one, check it in the top right corner. It's an awesome video. This looks amazing. We're pretty much going to be doing the same thing that we did in that video. We're just going to be copy and pasting it. I won't be going over it as in detail. Like I said earlier, I just don't want to bore you guys with the same content over and over again. But I want you guys to also know what I'm doing. So we're going to get into it. I need to clean all this up. I've been saying for like 5 episodes that I need to clean this, and I'm doing it today. This is going away, and we're going to get everything nice and organized, I promise. Can you guys smell the pollution? Because this is like probably terrible for the environment, but it's okay. I copied and pasted pretty much. These are all symmetrical. They're basically the same thing as this. They're just another one right there. I just have to run all the pipelines, and then I gotta double up our miners and add the power shards, and run all the lines and everything, split everything, make it look nice and pretty. I'm gonna finish cleaning up this area real fast. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that because that is completely full with pipes. So I'm gonna get working again, and I will be back with an update in just a little bit. Alright, so we have our power shards. We're gonna put 2 of these in here. Technically, I can make another 3rd row and then jump this into 3,000 power, but I just feel like it would not really benefit us as much as this would. 2,000 should be plenty enough to get us. Sorry, I can't talk over those. So 2,400 should be plenty of power to get us through the rest of this. I'm fine with dealing with that for now, as opposed to trying to do like a weird like 2 to 3 split. I think it'd be very confusing. So I'm gonna stick with this. Basically, all I did was add splitters to these lines right here. It's not the cleanest thing. Maybe at some point I can come back here and try to organize these lines, but honestly I'm not crazy worried about it. Why is that yellow? Okay, both those are turned on. They should be making 240, which should be filling these up all the way. These lines will need upgraded on the way back, get the actual amount out of there that it needs to be. Okay, now it's coming out. Go check our split and make sure we're getting a constant flow now. Yep, okay, so this is constant, which means this is still powered. It's not going to get any less than what it has already. And then we have enough coal for the other one. The only part left is to run the water and then hook up all the electricity. So I do have to run all these lines, which I'm really not looking forward to. But let's get them placed, and I'll get back in just a second. Alright, so we placed the majority of the lines. I'm missing one right there. I have to go back and get more copper sheets because I am out of them, unfortunately, because I had to lay so much pipe. You know what I mean? So I got all my pipe mostly laid, and then I'm gonna have to take this all down here. I might rework this and try to figure out this a little bit better because this just feels like an absolute mess. So I may rework this and see what I can figure out, and then I'm gonna have to make more of these water pumps. I'm gonna extend this out. I'm not sure how I'm gonna kind of fit this all in here, but I'm gonna figure something out. I'll probably have to move this closer this way and then do like another patch that side. I'm not sure exactly. I don't want to go all the way over because that will be kind of encroaching onto that bridge that we just made in our last video. So I'm not sure how I'm going to handle it. I'm going to go grab some more copper sheets, and then I'm going to see what I can figure out. Okay, so it's not my prettiest work. I'm willing to admit that. I had to fit. Instead of moving everything, I just tried to make like one little line here, and I tried to really wedge these in here. Like these are super tight to the rocks. If I backed them up any, they were in the red, which meant I can only use one line for this, and this is it's kind of weird at that junction there. I got it all figured out. I want to change this section right here. I don't like how steep that is, so I'm going to once I get this other section running over here and I can rely on that for power, I'm going to redo this water line to make it to match up with everything else. What the? Oh, did I just clip that onto the same one? How did I manage to do that? Okay, well, let's fix that real quick. That goes on there. This is all hooked up though. I'm gonna go hook up our actual like wiring for everything so we can get power, and then after that we should have 2,400 power. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we got everything hooked up. We have green lights everywhere. We have green lights all down here. This looks absolutely bonkers. Like this looks insane with how tightly packed everything is, how organized it is. We have all these chimneys, everything that's going on. This is just a lot. So we look at our power grid. We're up to, okay, either we have some problems or I don't know how to do math. Let me okay, I'm missing like 4 of these. Let me try to figure this out. I'll be back. Okay, I fixed it. I just had a section of 4 that wasn't actually hooked up to it, so I replaced this pole to a Mark II and added it into the power grid, and now we're up to 2,400. Our max consumption rose to about 1,500, so we got an extra like 250 power consumption out of that between the miners and all the water pumps that we had to build. But overall, I think we're looking a lot better. We have a lot more clearance now, as opposed to before. We were still over on our max consumption of what our actual power production was. Now we have about a 700 power window, or megawatts window, whatever you want to call it. We are only consuming about 1,000 right now, so it is a little bit higher than it was before. Once we get all that stuff running up there, it's going to be a lot. A lot of the stuff that we need to make now is going to be these assemblers, which are about 15 a piece. So it can very quickly become an issue of like, okay, I don't know the conversion on, isn't there a thing in here? Yeah, there's like a calculator or something. Whatever 15 divided or 700 divided by 15 is. I know it seems like a lot, but we can get there very quickly, especially if we start using power shards and stuff like that. So this should be enough for us to squeak by before we go into our next phase of the space elevator. I don't want to go into that. I know I already have this stuff, but I don't want to unlock it and start messing with that stuff until I fully kind of maximize what I'm capable of doing now. And I still need to build motors. I still need to use my entire other iron module. So the second half of this video is going to be working on that stuff up there. We have to build an entire another copper section. It's just going to be a lot of stuff getting done today. A lot of progress. So make sure you guys like down below, comment. This kind of feels like a sign off, and it's only because I'm getting off and I'm going to work, and I'm coming back tonight, and then we're gonna get some more stuff done. It's gonna be an awesome episode. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be back in about well, 10 seconds for you. It's like 10 hours for me, but I'll be back. Alright guys, now that we got our coal plant fixed, we're moving on to our next step, which is going to be trying to fix this whole factory because this is not set up properly. I want to use this alternate recipe that we got, but I need a lot of stuff. So I've already went ahead and switched this over. I was only running 80 iron plates out of this iron module, so I had to make a little bit of an executive decision and switch one of these off. There was originally 4 here. I switched this down to 1, it's to mean 30. That's making another 20, and then this is having to split off. So this is going down and combining with all the other ones that are still being transported over to the other assembler, and then this is being split off, so you have a 10 split. So you have one here and one here. Giving you 90 in this room, and then over here, this room, you're gonna have 90 as well. It's gonna run on its backside and merge with all 4 of these. So then this will be perfect matched with these. The screws are gonna be ran down and connected through here across the power room and into that room. The only problem right now is that I have all of this I have to get rid of. So I definitely can't place a resource sink in here, and I have nowhere else to go because I accidentally placed it right against the wall. So I'm gonna have to go get rid of all my inventory real fast and then pick up all this stuff and then move it to a resource sink. So I'll be right back in just a second. Alright, so I emptied out my inventory and I set up the resource sink. I can take all of this. I am gonna save a little bit of this though, and I'm gonna throw it in my storage bin, and then the rest of this is gonna go right down the drain. So we got the remaining that we're not gonna use or store up here in this box, and it's right in with everything merging, and we are getting rid of it. So now that we got that out of the way, we can work on getting our other room to organized, getting the screws down this pipe, or down one of these conveyor holes into the correct room. The only problem is I got to worry about how I'm splitting my screws a little bit. I've been having to get in here and kind of rework this. This needs to go down to 1 line pretty much, and then I have to figure out exactly how I want to get this. I have some weird numbers in order to make this work. So basically the math that I did for these plates, I'm going to need 13 constructors to run everything, and then I need this one, I'm going to need 10. So I need 23 in total, and I have 6. I have 18 right now, so I need to make another layer on top of that that'll use screws. I may have to get into making another iron module here in just a second because I don't think I'll have enough for this. Alright, so after a little bit of finagling, we got everything connected. We have our 10 line coming in from over there, which is attaching it to all the 80s that are right here, which is giving us 90 exactly. So this should be a 1-for-1, so these should run pretty much constantly. The only problem we're having right now is we have 6 constructors hooked up to each of these, which is 240. So the screws are operating at a little bit of a deficit. So yeah, it's like 92%. It just can barely not keep up. It's coming in fast enough that it really shouldn't see a huge drop in production. Like, it's going to be okay. But the plan is to take the remaining that I have, which is 6, which is not going to be enough to cover all the copper that we need because it's 195 a line and we only have 240 left. So we're probably going to power one of these, and then we're going to have the overflow move over to the next room and tie into everything. So that should get us just over, it should be able to get us to that 270 full line, which should be a little bit of overrun on the screws. But I mean, when you're talking about something like screws and it's 20 over, I'm not really all that worried about it. I will need to make something bigger in order to get more rotors going though. So I have had to build another iron module, which I'm really not looking forward to. So I'm gonna get everything tied in the way I want to, and then we're gonna see what we can do next before we run out of time. So I went ahead and set up like a small little place to get motors going. Basically I split that light in there, so this will get about 30 of what's actually coming out. That way it can still kind of fill up, but we can still get some of this sent down and away. have a good amount of coupons built up, but I don't really want to like stop getting that because there's still a bunch of stuff that I want to buy. So this is gonna get stators put into here. Um, 37 stacks per minute. Okay, well, it'll need to pick it up before it gives me exact amount on what is actually coming out of here. But it's basically the truck is finally working. It's doing something. I didn't build all this for nothing. The truck will take all that stuff and it'll move it down here, and then from there it's gonna move into our assembler right here. Sorry, I'm blanking my words. So I'm gonna let this run for a second, make sure that we get the stators down here and everything's working good, and then I'm gonna move on to the next part. So it looks like the truck did work. I know this is like the most basic truck setup ever, but it actually did work. So that's going good. This will go in here. We can start making our motors. I just need to set up a little bit of a box to collect all the motors, and then this will be set up for now. I know that my stator production is like really vastly outdoing what my rotor production is right now, but I ran the numbers on it, and to get up to the amount of stators that I'm making, I'd have to do an insane amount of stuff. So I don't know how far I'm really going to get into it. I'm definitely going to try to produce at least a little bit more. If I can work out the screws to where I can run two of these, then or sorry, two of the assemblers to make the alternative recipe is about 22 a minute. So it's still producing like a 1/3 of the actual amount of stators that we have. It kind of sucks, but you know what, it is what it is. I don't have the screws to really make that, especially without like the alternate recipes. I know there's a steel screw recipe that produces like 52 screws off of like 4 steel ingots, which would be very ideal, but I have to go out and get those. So I don't think I'm really in the position right now to be able to produce at a level that can make these work without just making this factory absolutely massive. So I'm gonna have to really do some kind of risk reward value of, not risk reward, but like value of how much it's actually worth to do all that work, especially because a lot of it's going to be background work. You know, I've already did 2 whole episodes on me building iron modules, and it's just a matter of like how much do I want to show you guys of me building the same thing over and over and over again until I have enough to produce at a level that this is actually worth it. So I'm not sure on how I'm going to handle that situation, but I'm going to try to at least get to 2. I think I have the screws to do it. I just got to add a little bit more, and I'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to head back up top, and I'm going to get looking into what I need to do to make the rest of the screws to get that other assembler running, and I'll be right back. Alright, so we connected that top level of screws down to here. It's basically running through the power room just like the other ones. It's coming across. Right now I need to get rid of the storage box for the screws that are all the way up there, because now it's connected into that room. So I have to get everything off of this line so I can get rid of it. So I'm just letting this run, getting rid of all the screws that are stuck in that storage box, and then I can connect all this up, and then we'll have one solid one running. This is 240, so I'm gonna have to run a splitter with the overload to push it into the other side, which should give you about 50 to the other one, which means we're only gonna need about 140 more screws, which I think translates to about four more constructors of screws, which kind of sucks because needing 4 more constructors means that we need to upgrade our miners, which means we need to upgrade like everything, and that's basically the other iron module I was talking about. So I still haven't came up with an idea on how I want to handle that. I think I'm just gonna let it run the overload, and whatever is remaining, the 50 a minute, can be pushed over here and produce like 1 or 2 a minute, but at least we'll have 2 of these running, and that way I don't have to really worry about it. These are still operating at a loss, even though we're using our overload for the other side, but like I said, it's relatively close and it's gonna be okay, so I'm not crazy worried about it. But why is this not getting plates? Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that. I'll be right back. So earlier I accidentally deleted this splitter, and I thought if I just placed it back in the same spot that it would automatically snap to it, and I guess it didn't. So let me replace this splitter real quick. Hope that's right. That is definitely not right. Smart splitter, just a regular one. So there we go. Alright, that should get our iron plates running again here in just a second. So I was not expecting this at all. It's just how fast it's producing these plates, because this is, I had like maybe like a stack and a half in here when I started recording today, like maybe 30 minutes ago, and this started like almost full. I connected this so it can start getting moved up to those modular frames again, because there is just an abysmal amount. This is producing, you know, give or take probably about like 25 to 30 a minute with all the screws and stuff that we're missing. So this is a lot of reinforced plates that we're making. I have decided that I'm going to tie off the overflow on this one and go into here, because I have to build the copper plant anyway to get this going. So there's not really a point in running two of these, because I'm just going to be bottlenecked on both of them. So I'm going to place a smart splitter once this runs out, like right there, and I'll split this line off to go into there. That way the extra, what is it, 45 will be pushed over here, which is enough to keep up with this, and then I have like a 5 to 10 remaining, which isn't really bad. So I'm going to do that once this is finally done, and then I'll probably be ending the episode there. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so we're going to be ending the video here. It's taking way too long for me to get that done, so I'm waiting for it to get done. I'll do it in the background, it'll be fine. I'll get everything hooked up and split over, like I said, and I'll probably show you guys at the start of the next video. I'm just finishing up this by finishing off some more. No, we're not listening to her. I'm finishing up just some little ma'am stuff. Let me see what this is. I might have to put this one into hostile detection. I think I actually have the stuff for this, so while I'm going down there, I'll finish my little outro. There's a lot of stuff that we got to do. We have our project parts set up, so we are ready to go down here and send all this stuff off and start the next phase. But there's also a bunch of stuff that we still need to do. Like, we have the capacity to make 2 more iron modules. We have another capacity to make basically double our copper production as well. So we can make this factory massive, which will get us closer to getting all of our stators and everything, our rotors, produced. So there's a lot of stuff to do, but both those are massive projects. I don't know how much is worth getting into before we actually move on to the next phase. We do have our power grid set up, so we are producing a good amount of power. If I can find a power pole, I'll show you guys. Our max consumption is up to about 1500, so we're still have a 900 gap window, which should be enough to start the next stuff. Basically, though, for this factory, what I was thinking is I don't really want to get into the manufacturers, just because every time that I play this game, it kind of goes the same way. I build my factory and it gets set up and everything's going great, and then I start like an alternative recipes and everything gets messed up, and then I get to the manufacturers and I gotta figure out how to get 3 different ingredients all around the building, so it becomes very complicated very fast. So I was kind of hoping to just get this as an isolated facility and then complete it and then leave it alone, and then move on to our bigger factory where we can do all of our manufacturers and all that stuff. We have it we have it brought in on transport, whether it's by truck or train. I believe the train is aligned to the next phase. We have that as well. There's planes later on, so there's a bunch of different options we have to actually get stuff there. So I would like to preferably do that and have multiple factories, not small factories, but big factories kind of like this, set up around the place where it can all be transported in. So also another option that we need to do is exploring. So I think I'm going to actually try to explore in the next episode, go on a little bit of adventure, and that way I can kind of rest my brain from all the math and stuff that I've had to do. Especially on this episode, it's been a lot to kind of try to rework all of our stuff, especially with our alternative recipes that we have now, and things are just not working out. There's a lot of fractions involved. Hunter's brain hurts. All that being said, I'm going to be ending the video here. You guys have a good night. Geeking out.